Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict on this fine and red hot evening because I am sweating cobs here. I've got a jacket on as well. I'm going to take that off. Take that. I think I've lost weight. I've literally this week, people. We nearly didn't get a show tonight, but I thought, you know what? It's Christmas. I can't not give you a show. That's why it's very last minute. So yeah, enough of my health, and here's to your good health. Merry Christmas, people. This is a nice Baileys that might sort me out. Let me know in the chat if I get any in my tash. Without further ado, Lee can't make it tonight, apparently. You know, he says something to do with polishing his shoes. I don't know if I believe him. But Stu Little, welcome to the show, my lad. How are you?
Merry Christmas.
feeling?
I'm good. Fighting fit. Better than you, I think. You're dying in the corner, mate.
I love you. I have said if I go on mute, it's because I'm coughing my guts up. But the
Baileys should help. It'll soften the throat.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a Baileys. I've got some water, and I've got a hot lemon drink as well.
That's probably the best thing. Yeah, I've just got a can of Pepsi. I'm bored.
Jesus Christ, that's got a lot of lemon in it. Wow. Oof. And also, I'm hidden. Where is he? He's hiding. There you go. He's there. We did have a face. We did have a face, but we lost his face. His delicious face. I went, well, he's
my old and decrepit face. How is everybody doing?
He didn't want to show us his Christmas tree. That's the problem. All good, mate. You?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
And apparently, we may be getting Dark Sky Files if he can make the show. Love that guy. Put some great documentaries out. Guys and girls, you know what I mean. My other computer's just broken. Fan fucking tastic. Oh well. What more could possibly go wrong this week? I saw Third Phase of Moon's new video, and this is not me by any means.
Is it a music video?
Oh no! Have they got a new music video?
I don't know.
Definitely have they?
I have definitely got to see that if they have. No, they did a video last night, and I found something very interesting in that video, and I thought I recognized that, and I want to know where the original source came from, because it's not in the description. So I'm going to bring it up in a moment. But yeah, I want you guys, when you see it, to see if it looks familiar to you. So without further ado, let's get people's nipples hard. Let's get this show going. Merry Christmas, everybody. Darkest Gooner, how you doing, my lad? Happy Christmas with a sexy super chat. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody here.
Thank you, Darkest.
Oh, yeah. Zach, no worries, my lad. We will arrange. We've got to get you on a show with some of the other people that have had. That's what the plan is anyway, to get you all together. People that have had paranormal experiences. Yeah. Let's get a room full of you all. But no sex talk. Just paranormal sex. Right. I'm not myself.
Normal sex.
Not normal sex. Yeah, you know.
Nothing's fun with that.
Whatever that is. Yes, people. So while I'm just bringing this up, how is everybody on this fine, delicious Christmas Eve?
I'm good. Glad to be here this week. Same as last week, I had to bail, so all good.
Oh yeah, you were literally doing a runway, you're not?
Yeah, I was picking the parents up from their holiday escape, and it became a calamity. I didn't get back home till 4 a.m. or just after. So, best less said about that, the better. It was a sore point. Chasing after bags and watching planes arrive and then leave again and then coming back. That was fun.
Any UFOs?
No, it's Glasgow. They stay away from Glasgow.
They got sense.
Yeah.
They heard of the Glaswegian smile.
So,
That's funny. I actually saw a guy with one of those the other day. Scars. You know what a Glaswegian smile is, Ollie?
Yeah, like bloody, what you call it, Joker. Yeah, where is it?
Yeah.
They didn't the Craze brothers used to do that?
I don't know. Could have done.
I think they did to somebody. Yeah.
Wasn't it a mark of a snitch?
Yeah. I actually saw somebody just literally when I was in the town the other day, and he had the scars, and he looked about maybe in his late 50s, early 60s. I thought, oh God, you've had a rough life if that's what's happened to you.
There's an actor that's got the same scars that was in Braveheart. I can't remember the actor's name.
Is that not the dude that was in Sons of Anarchy as well?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Because
he's got the same scars. I think it may not be from that. Oh, here we go. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Dark Sky. Listening and trying to get out of work so I can start the holiday. Hoping to join. He's hoping to join. So we want you to join as well, Darkest Skies. What? Take the notice of me, Dark Sky. I am literally dying.
He's hanging by a thread.
I'm hanging.
I'll tell you what, Dark Skies, we'll stay on as long as it takes to get you on here. So if you're going to take 4 hours, we're going to be here for 4 hours.
I don't think I'll last 4 hours, boys.
Oh, there you go. Ollie doesn't want you on.
We're going to be lucky at that now. I think we can go. Probably over a couple of hours, maybe. Yeah, that should be okay. Thank you so much, my friend. You don't have to do that.
I love when they say that. NASA can't explain it. It's not that NASA can't. They won't. They just don't want to. They can't be asked.
Welcome back.
By the way, just before anybody starts, I'm not accusing these boys of doing anything here. I actually find this fascinating, but I recognize it.
Third phase of moon, Blake Cousins, along with my brother Brett and panel members chiming in on the incredible videos. Just into third phase of moon, you're looking at vintage video from 1980s, never seen before, including an update from the volcano in South America of what looks to be some kind of mysterious orb. We're going to be showcasing this in incredible detail, including an update from Into Thin Air of what looks to be some kind of celestial event, a UFO approaching the sun and changes directions.
That's good.
Incredible
that is.
stuff right here at Third
Yeah, that's
Phase.
a bit weird, isn't it?
Let's get
That's
to it.
good.
Take a look at this first video right now.
What are we looking for?
It's highly resolution.
Filmed on a potato.
Apparently it's from the 80s.
It looks like it's been altered. It looks like in the process of them trying to tidy it up, they've also
It's
obscured.
got a lot of unsharp masking on it. Because that's what that white halation is.
Are you saying, Hidden, that possibly this UFO has been, it is there, but it's been altered?
No. What I'm trying to say is that they tried to tidy up the footage. The footage looks like it's been. It doesn't, but yeah, I just think they've tidied it up too much. I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, there's too much. There's too much unsharp masking on it.
I'd like that.
What the hell?
It's interesting.
Yeah, because it doesn't. It seems more like it's hovering. Is this the same object? But
What bridge is that? Is that the San Francisco Bridge?
What, the Golden Gate or the Bay?
We've got Rich Giordano from GoofOn. He's going to be joining us on this incredible episode, giving us his opinion.
Could be the
This
Golden Gate.
incredible UFO encounter shot in the 1980s. Listen up.
You can tell it's not CGI. It definitely doesn't look like CGI, but you're talking about the 80s, so they didn't really do that back then. So you got to stop saying that. If it's a blimp, I've never seen one like it in the 80s, and I'm a child of the 80s, so I don't know what this thing is. This is pretty legit looking. It even has some depth to it, like there's
it does. It's an interesting video.
like indentations on the object.
So there, right there. Look at that.
It's not just one solid shape, you
The
know, like
ship
a
there,
sports model type
whatever
of
it
disc.
is.
This has
Remember
maybe
that.
different levels inside, but the way it's built, it looks like it's got different layers. Or
It reminds me of one of the
it
old
is
aliens that have.
it is really
remember the movie
interesting. Yeah,
Batteries Not
good
Included?
stuff, man. See, this
Oh,
is
yeah,
what ufology's about right here.
That's
This is it.
that's a great.
That's right,
film.
Rich. And we're looking at it once again, quite incredible, from the 1980s. The vintage video
that's the
comes
original
forward.
video.
And again, like you said, Rich, no CGI. This is real stuff we're sharing with you. The question is, what the heck are we looking at? Bob Lazar speaks of the sports model. Is this something in regards to that technology, something that defies gravity or seemingly defies gravity?
See,
with
they
no
don't look the
means of
same, do they?
propulsion?
No,
It's quite interesting.
that's definitely been over sharpened too much because that's what that white sort of banding is around it.
Stu, can I ask you,
Sure.
in your opinion, as a filmmaker, does it look like the frame could possibly be a lot bigger, and it's been zoomed in on a TV?
Oh, it's definitely been cropped into, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
they've
can tell-
definitely
you can tell.
they've definitely punched into it. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
There's a
Just
lot of
because
blurring.
all the pixelation and the blur and that, you wouldn't get that even in crappy footage.
So what I want to show you now, what this reminds me of. Now, remember the bridge.
Okay.
Let me just bring it up for you. Talk amongst yourselves.
Merry Christmas, everyone in the
Okay.
chat. And anybody 420?
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
not
chat?
going to moderate the chat tonight, so you can all go hell for leather if you want.
You can all go fuck yourself. That's what you're going to say.
No. Merry Christmas.
So this is
I'm a
what
man
this.
of peace. Right.
So from the 1980s, one of my favorite films growing up as a kid that got me into the subject. This is what it reminds
Flight of
me
the
of.
Navigator.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
what I will say is the movement with it blotching out at each side it's not, it doesn't do that. I was wondering if I've been scouting for some like long lost footage of this, but
There's a
what
whole
makes me-
documentary you can watch.
yeah, but what I want to show you is this one clip. Right.
San Francisco Bridge.
Oh, please.
Right here.
Similar, but I don't think it's the same.
No, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. I'm not saying it's the same, but
No.
the fact that
I can
that thing that Blake and Brent put out that ship looks very much like that Flight of the Navigator ship. There is also Flight of the Navigator 2 coming out next year.
That's right.
Now, is that film going to have footage of what happened in the 80s, or is it going to be a remake and based in the 80s? If you know what I mean. Is it going to be up to date and a proper sequel, or is it going to be just a remake?
I think they're, because all the actors pretty much, apart from the guy who was like the baddie, the scientist dude, I think they're all still about.
So
Yeah.
I think they're doing like a follow on, like X amount of years later. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Because this ship looks.
There's a channel on YouTube called Captain Disillusion.
Yeah. I've seen the guy.
Right. He
Half
does
his head looks like
amazing.
that ship.
He's got a video like explaining everything they did and how they did it, and it's fascinating. So it is. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. But they've definitely punched into that video clip.
Is there any chance I could see that thin air one again? If you, or are you going to run the whole video?
No, it was just. I find this intriguing how much this looks like the flight of the Navigator ship, and I think that's on the same bridge.
Well, did they give a location to this? Any information to it other than this was filmed in the 80s?
They don't. But this is nothing like the flight of the Navigator because this thing moves. It starts to distort. The ship does distort, but it doesn't do.
There, see that little bit? You just at the bridge. It does look like it there more than anything. Not so much there, but there. I can see where you're getting that from.
It's there. That it looks like the flight of the Navigator ship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good job that he tried to tidy it up, but could they put some more sharpen it a little bit?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. The fact that is so much like that ship until it starts to morph, and it's kind of, I think, that same scene where it's going over is it the Golden Gate Bridge? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That red bridge.
The red bridge. There's the two big bridges in San Francisco. Golden Gate that's red, and then I think the Bay Bridge is like just a grey sort of, gunmetal grey color, I think.
So I'm just wondering if it's inspirational work that somebody's, but I can't see who sent them it. There is no link in the description.
Can you hear my dog snoring, by the way? She is absolutely snoring like nobody's business on the couch. Good. It's pretty loud. But no, if they hadn't punched into it so much, maybe we'd seen a little bit more of the bridge. We maybe got an idea of where it had been. And there's two reasons for cropping into it. One, to obviously show off the UFO better. But two, it maybe become more obvious where the clip's from if you saw the whole view. So they maybe don't want people to know where they've got it from. Is that just the kind of skeptic in me on that one?
I mean,
but
you're allowed to be skeptical, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just because Third Phase don't have the best track record. But until somebody comes along and says, oh, this is the clip from this video, you just don't know. I don't know it's hard to tell. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's just the bridge and that shape there. That shape that's the. But then it starts to do that weird shit.
I really don't help them over sharpening it and zooming into it, cropping into it really helps it. I think if you actually saw it like wider, you would be able to sort of define it a bit better.
Yeah,
that's a good stop on it.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting.
It's almost like there's like bits coming off of it and like angular points.
And kind of like
if you saw it from above, it would look like a star shape.
It changes scene as well. That's why I don't trust it because
it
goes to different scenes.
It's a big cut.
There's cuts there that
for
me, why would they be there?
Has it been filmed by two people independently, or is it just one person who has moved location? And if they've moved location, why did they move? Because obviously, if you've got something like that in your viewfinder, you wouldn't want to move. You would just film it.
if you film something on an 80s camcorder, could you tell it had been done recently, or could you tell if it was old from the 80s? That makes sense.
You'd have to get the raw footage.
Yeah, you need the raw footage, but yeah, I mean, there is a certain. I mean, it's going to be, if it's done in like a camcorder, it's recorded to magnetic tape, so that's got telltale signs. And then it'll have been digitized at some point.
You can look at it this way: that it's a newer video, and somebody's made it look old.
Yeah,
because they,
that's easy enough to do. I mean,
you could add in that arm tracking reel. You saw the tracking bit that came in the when we were watching the video. You could add that in, which I find kind of weird, and I'll tell you why. They zoomed in on it. So
go back to that then. Actually, that's a good point.
Oh,
go back to the bit.
333. That's my favorite number. He knows that's my favorite number. Thank you so much. 2022, 2022,
222, Lost in Space. Meet Will and Grace.
Some guy. Go back to that bit with the tracking. Is it that at the beginning?
See, we don't know if they had the video sent to them, or he's not saying it's Jaime's video, is it?
It doesn't say where it comes from.
See, if it was from Jaime, he would say, "I got this from Jaime."
Yeah,
that's not a bridge. It's a flight of the Navigator advertising. It's a real UFO. I'm embarrassed for you. It's probably fake. Not everything is fake just because you can't figure it out.
What's that?
That's from Goofon, Rich. That's not a bridge.
I'm not saying it's fake, Rich, at all. I'm saying it reminds me of Flight of the Navigator.
I'm just commenting the fact that there's elements of it look like the bridge. So if Goofon's saying that it's not a bridge, has he seen the wider shot?
See, that could have been in there anyways, yeah.
Oh, so there's a wider shot. Well, give us the wider shot. What happened to my voice then? Give us the wider shot, Rich. You probably sat with Blake and Brent right now. Tell them to put the wider shot out, because all we're seeing is a zoomed in version of it, and it goes to different angles.
Rich edit it for them?
I don't think so. No. Blake and Brent do all their own editing.
Right.
Yeah.
I know Rich did some bits and pieces for them, the UFO report.
Oh yeah. He's done the UFO report and stuff like that. But yeah, I find that very interesting that particular UFO to me looks like it's very similar to the Flight of the Navigator, other than the change in shape thing. And the sequel to the film comes out next year. I'm wondering, all I'm saying is, I'm wondering, Rich, if somebody maybe putting some
a bit of a viral marketing sort of.
Yeah. That could be, because I think that's the bridge from that scene when the UFO goes.
But he's saying it's not the bridge.
He's not from
seen it wider.
If you've seen it wider, Rich, that's what she said. I want to see it wide. That's also what she said. She was disappointed.
Cool. It's not okay. So yeah, I would take it that if they had the location, they would have gave it. But do you know the location? I have to ask. Do you know anything about this video?
Rich,
are you
saying? I don't know if he is free. I don't think he is free. He's welcome to come on and.
His show will be starting not too far away, will
it? It usually starts about 2 hours after mine. But I want to know: is there a wider shot of this? Have you seen the wider shot, Rich?
I think he said that's what we look at is what they got.
Right.
Which
Right.
I would figure they would have played it.
Where from though? Where's it from?
That's the question, Rich.
This is the
Interesting.
thing with all these UFO videos. Like, you just don't know who's got it from what, where, when, and like they're sending it into them, and like there's no, unless you've actually got somebody filming it with their own phone or camera, and you can hear their voice and you can corroborate that because you've spoken to them on Zoom or something. It's very difficult to sort of pinpoint where a video is from.
Yeah, but Rich, I know you've just joined the show, but yeah, at the beginning of the video, you can ask the audience. I did say this is not a dig at third phase of moon. I said I find it interesting that this thing looks so much like the Flight and the Navigator ship until it starts to do all that weird spidery shit, and then it's nothing like it. But there's certain parts of that ship that, and the Flight and the Navigator ship does change shape. So I was wondering maybe if it might be so. It may
it does
be
because it gets
some marketing
and more.
Yeah, it does that thing where it goes like
aerodynamic.
It's the greatest UFO spaceship. So good. I've got to get a model of that.
I don't know if you can get models of it now, because I remember again from that Captain Disillusion video, he struggled to like get renders of it and stuff like that, and had to kind of redesign it himself.
I imagine that thing would have been hard to make, very hard to make.
Part of it, I know for a fact that part of it was practical. It was like attached to a forklift, effectively, cherry picker type thing.
Yeah.
And it was shot from one particular angle. And I know the steps that come out, that's stop motion animation. So when you see them all coming out sort of all liquidy and that's done in like, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 frames at different stages. And so there was a practical, and then obviously there was the interior of it as well.
Yeah, it's just that it's
beautiful. It's a classic film.
It is a classic they're probably going to ruin when they do the remake. Like they do everything.
Speaking of movies, have you watched you maybe talked about it last week, the Lazar trailer?
What?
There's going to be Universal
another one.
the movie.
Yeah, an actual movie.
An actual movie.
Is there a trailer for it?
There's a trailer for it, yeah.
Fuck my bottom. Really?
Yeah, if you have a look on Twitter, it'll be on YouTube as well. I don't know who's playing Bob Lazar, but I mean, he looks pretty similar.
So I did say this.
I heard it was Kevin Spacey.
Right.
No comment.
I did say this years ago that they will make a film, and I think it'll be Matt Damon that plays Bob Lazar.
I don't know who it is that's playing him. I haven't even looked in IMDb to have a dig around it.
My money's on Ali G. Imagine if he played him.
Oh God, that would be so funny. You can definitely.
It's not coming up with anything.
I'll see if I can get a link for it.
I mean, it's coming up with like with your Corbell stuff and that, but
yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. But
he's too busy jumping off cliffs in Norway.
Yeah, I've been seeing the videos.
I do think the interfit air thing though is interesting in that video.
Yeah.
With the piece that goes to the sun, then kind of does a little bit of a U-turn. I find stuff like that fascinating.
There you go. Type in Lazar trailer 2023. Oh no, that's that fan trailer.
Oh, it's gonna. You've been hooked, lightning sinker, haven't you, Stu? You have. Come on.
Ah, don't tell me it's a bloody fan trailer.
It's a fan. Somebody wrote it in the chat.
No, but I saw on Google that it was tagged to Universal. That's what made me think it was legit.
I have heard this for a while
they're looking for a
now.
job.
No, I think they'll do it. I think they will do a film, a Lazar film.
Oh, I hate when that happens. You get it a lot with Harry Potter
Yeah.
stuff.
Alan Alda.
You had a little bit of a nibble on that carrot, didn't you, Stu? You saw it.
I did.
You saw it. You went for it.
You loved it, man. You loved it.
I had issues with it because I thought the S4 like design was a bit shit because it just looks like your average sort of factory rather than a sort of secret base in the side of a mountain.
Oh, that's what they do, though. You know, it's just bog standard family.
That's bollocks.
Hey, brother.
That's a fan trailer. Disappointed now.
I wanted to ask something though, because like you said, all I want for Christmas is disclosure, as the title of this show. And when I saw the title, it made me remember that there was some disclosure that had meant to happen maybe a couple of weeks ago. Am I correct?
It's still not happening. We're supposed to get that report, and
the only thing that's come out that's mildly of interest, and I don't think anybody's dug into it far enough yet, is they've released more of the JFK stuff that was classified. I think they've released about 80,000 documents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which they said they were going to release years ago and didn't. But there's still a lot of it's like redacted and that. But there's journalists digging through it all just now. But I haven't heard anything in the way of like any juicy details or, you know,
nothing there that says that they mustn't go back to the moon.
Or nothing.
No, nothing like that.
Nothing they're saying about the CIA men sitting behind him. The magic bullet. Nobody's saying anything about that one. Anything about the shot from the grassy knoll?
Not as yet. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that my view in the thing was that there was a second shooter. There had to have been.
I've never delved really deep into the whole JFK conspiracy.
Oh, I went down that rabbit hole years ago when JFK the movie came out.
I'm sure I watched like you know how like they do CSI, the TV show. They did kind of a reenactment of the shooting itself, and the guy who was sitting where that magic bullet came from, he was Secret Service.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. It's that long since I've watched everything, but it'll be interesting if they do dig anything up.
They didn't say that it was an assassination, but they said it was definitely could have been a cover up because they don't know like if he pulled the gun out and his finger accidentally grazed it, and you know some of these triggers.
Supposedly, Lyndon Johnson called the governor Connolly, who got hit. He was sitting in front of JFK, and Johnson told him the night before it actually happened that he shouldn't sit where he was going to sit in the car. He shouldn't be in it. He should go in one of the other cars or move seats.
So
that kind of makes you wonder.
He knew where the man was sitting.
Yeah. Kind of makes you wonder, but I don't know how much proof there is of that. But at that time, they did record things in the White House, but I don't know whether they did it for the vice president or not. Or where he was.
I think me and you and a few others knew who them recordings were going to. But anyways, off topic.
Well,
yeah.
You never know. He may have known. He may have known a tad bit about space. Just saying
that it was bollocks or something. Because I don't think he was really interested in space. From what JFK?
He wanted to get him onto the moon.
Yeah, but that was a race with the Russians.
Oh, but after that, he thought, done it now.
I don't think he was interested. I think he was more interested about what was going on Earth because didn't he have something to do with the banks as well? He wanted to do something about the banks.
Yeah, well, Nixon ended up like the dollar used to be attached to gold. I can't remember how you would word it, but it was backed against gold, and then
it was a bearer note.
Yeah, and so like gold always gave it the strength and value, and then Nixon like basically took that away, and it became a fiat currency of the dollar's the dollar.
And that was order. He did that in order to fund the Vietnam conflict.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He took away he took away. You're exactly right. He took away he basically just said because Congress would not approve Vietnam as a war. Yeah, even though we say it's a war, it was never approved as a war. So legally,
it was always just a conflict, wasn't it?
A conflict. But he couldn't fund the conflict, so they just went into overdrive with printing the money.
Yeah.
But they've been
doing it ever since.
That's right. They never reimposed it. So they're printing money on gold they don't have. And then charging you, here's the criminal aspect to it. They're charging you interest. So you're paying real money on money that don't exist. Do you get how that works?
Don't get me started in the way money works, because it drives me insane the way banks can just generate money out of nothing. And
it's that old saying, though, my brother, isn't it? You give a man a gun, he'll rob a bank. You give a man a bank, he'll rob the world.
Yeah. Tell you another movie I watched recently on Amazon Prime. Have you ever seen The 11th Green?
Is this about UFOs?
Mm-hmm. It's about Eisenhower. You know how Eisenhower disappeared for a few days and supposedly went to the dentist but ended up meeting some aliens?
What, to do his dental job?
So when he
I don't know about doing his dental job, but they used the dental story as a cover, and he ended up supposedly going to an Air Force base in California or somewhere, and he met with aliens and came to an agreement with them or whatever. It's called The 11th Green. Campbell
Is it
Scott.
good?
Yeah, it is actually quite good.
Has it got anything to back it up? Or is it just kind of like a bit, it's just something nice to get your teeth sunk into?
Yeah, it's a bit like, do you remember the Kyle MacLachlan Roswell film?
Yes.
Right, it's a bit like that.
Right.
It's got the same kind of vibe as that. It's well done. It keeps you engaged. And
here's my thing with all this, and you hear this a lot, that aliens met up with so and so, they made an agreement that if an alien has the technology to get here, or has been coming here for what they say thousands and thousands of years, or as potentially has lived, this is their planet or whatever, I don't see why they'd make negotiations.
Oh, no, I don't get it either.
Why would they make that? That would be like us making negotiations with sheep before we shear them, slaughter them, fuck them, whatever. That's what it would be like for civilizations that's so advanced to just because you got a suit, you're a politician or whatever.
And the thing is, America's America, but America's just one part of the whole of the world. So why land in America? Why not land in Russia or China or Australia or Africa or
the whole UFO thing seems to be
France.
very much aimed at America. I've said this for so long.
It's very. I mean, there's probably more interesting cases come out of Australia and South America, and them sort of Mexico and Colombia and stuff,
and even China.
Yeah, then there is in Russia as well to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Then whereas the stuff that comes out of America tends to be either fake or sensationalized or whatever, or
liar.
I don't know.
My brother.
Maybe the UK's too cold for them. I don't know.
All I can say with America, because it's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of things being misidentified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's a big world. But again, you do. There's a lot of the reports come out of America, and it seems to. It's. Some people are going to hate me for saying this, but it seems by design. it seems like that's what it's always supposed to have been. You know, the whole Roswell thing, everything about it. I mean, you go back to Roswell.
Everybody goes back to Roswell, and that kind of irks me.
But you have to.
Everything. Why though?
Why? Yeah, you could go even further than Roswell. You could go to the Nuremberg incident.
You can, but when did the military say we have a flying saucer and then redact it the next day?
Yeah, I suppose so. Because I mean, there was the one in Aurora, Texas, that was prior to Roswell, and there's like ones before that. But yeah, we always end up going back to Roswell.
Yeah, but when has the military ever said we've got a flying saucer craft, whatever, release that, and then change their minds? Now, that's either a few military guys that got absolutely levered, pissed out the faces, and thought a weather balloon was a flying saucer. But I'm pretty sure for that to go to the press, that's got to go through some places.
I reckon to this day there's a member of the family of the press officer guy. Is it Jesse? I can't remember his name now. The one that had to appear in the photos and redact what he'd said. I'm pretty sure if it did actually happen, somebody in the family has got like bits of the craft stored away, squirreled away somewhere.
I do. I think over time, a lot of people have always, they go back to Roswell now and they just kind of like laugh about it. You know, it probably was nothing. It probably, you know, the newspaper's probably right when it was a weather balloon. People are so mixed on Roswell. I think something did go down in Roswell, 100%.
It's too weird a story. It is a strange one. And it'll get discussed forevermore. It just irks me that we always seem to go back to it rather than look at other things now. You know, particularly. I mean, there's other crashes and stuff like that, and stories out there.
If you wanted to do anything with Roswell, what could you do now? Because pretty much every single witness is dead.
It's literally you're getting second, third, and fourth hand witnesses now.
Yeah, see, you're getting the kids, the grandkids stories. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, you could go out there with a spirit box and turn it into a paranormal event. Okay, I'm glad somebody got it.
Greer could hold these.
Sent you an invite, my friend, on Twitter.
Jesse Marcel, that's the dude. Thank you. Yeah, Greer could do one of these CE5 events out there.
Not flares.
Comes back.
Not flares, guys.
How's the documentary coming, Stu?
It's getting there. I've got a bit of actual work, that pays the bills to get done, and I'll be working on that January through to mid-February. But after that, the
just to quickly stop you there, just before people go, what documentary? Stu is making a documentary on none other than our friendly neighborhood. Where the hell is he? Dr. Greer.
Yeah, with the COVID mask tonight.
Yeah.
No, it's a doctor's mask.
Is that a doctor's mask?
Is a doctor? It should have been blue.
He's not thinking of our health, and
that's another part of the whole thing that I've been doing a lot of research on. Is like there's very little known about his career as a doctor, and he was a trauma ER doctor for many years. I mean, that's a fact, but I have yet to find somebody who worked with him. And I'm not saying there isn't anybody out there.
Oh, God, they didn't all die, did they?
No. But I just have yet to come across somebody, because I'd love to get somebody on camera that I can basically have a conversation with and just say, what was he like to work with? Was he always going on about UFOs back then? Why leave a successful career in medicine to pursue, full-time UFO disclosure? Because, it's obviously been profitable for him, but he couldn't have known that back then, that it was going to be so profitable. He must have taken a leap of faith at some point. Or does he come from money? That kind of thing. The family.
I think he does come from quite a bit
independently
of money.
Wealthy and stuff like that. So that side
he always
of things,
drops names.
Yeah, he's really bad for the acronyms and the name dropping. So he is. So I've secured 2 or 3 interviews that'll be happening early next year, and I've got representatives of the dude Gibbons from ZZ Top and that are hopefully. I'm going to try and get an interview with him, but it's not proving difficult. But there's a lot of back and forward about it at the moment, because if I can get him, good evening.
Merry Christmas, Q. How you doing, my lad?
Not so bad. I hope you have a wonderful one.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of love to you and the family.
I'm glad you've come on, a fellow ufologist.
We try.
So we just talking. Have you met Hidden? Have you met Hidden before?
I don't know. Possibly
Hidden
not.
Underbelly?
I don't think so. I'm not too sure myself. But
well,
hello. If I haven't met you, we've met now.
Yes, sir.
Same here. Hello.
Hello. Lovely to meet you guys.
Hidden
Merry
Underbelly
Christmas.
from the Hidden Underbelly channel, UFO channel. I am Stu Little, has a channel on how to edit stuff, but he's making a documentary on Stephen Greer.
Cool.
Which will be...
And it's slow going. It'll be out sometime next year.
A slow burner, it doesn't matter, Stu, as long as you deliver the goods.
I want to get it
factual.
right. I want to get it factual and right, and I want to have a big, huge, thick PDF citing all the sources so that nobody can come back to me and say, you're bullshitting me, or, that's a lie or anything. Everything I'm going to put in it is going to be concrete, from the horse's mouth in terms of people that have interacted with him. Might try and get an interview with him himself. I mean, it's not going to be a hit job, but he's just done some shady things along the way that might, prove difficult for him if we get the right people talking. But I'm not deliberately going out to assassinate the guy, his character. But there's a lot of stuff that he does and goes on about, and it's just, with my eyes, bullshit. I mean, if you talk to Cambion about it, he's got loads of research in regard to some of which I'm going to try and get a hold of at some point. But he's the guy loves dropping names and going on about briefing presidents and that. And his idea of briefing a president is literally sending them a big 200-page document and some intern probably read. Whereas, at least in my mind's eye, when I first started watching him, and he used to go on about briefing Clinton or the director of the CIA or Bush or whatever, you kind of imagine him being invited into the Oval Office, sat down and actually briefing the president. But no, it's not like that at all.
In reality, he just posted a letter.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff's on his site, what he's actually posting. It's heavy duty, it's a right thick read. You've really got to pay attention to what the guy's saying. But I don't know how much, the more I dig, the less impressed I get. But that being said, it's going to be entertaining. But I've just got to walk a fine line, because I don't want them turning around, because I'm going to put this out in your channel, Ollie. Hopefully you'll be quite happy doing that, because I don't have a UFO channel, and there's no point in me putting it out in my channel, because it would probably just disappear into the depths of YouTube, whereas at least you've got an audience that will watch it.
Are you going to start from the beginning? Are you going to start? Are you going to actually find out about what made him take the turn and do the UFOs and everything?
Yeah, I'm going to try. I mean, it's part of the plan at the moment. As I say, I don't know what shape this is going to take. Like, it could be a 90-minute documentary, and I keep it really tight, or I do it over 1, 2, 3 parts, and really, really, really go into in depth.
Q, this
I
is
don't
what
know.
Stu does for a living. He kind of edits stuff for documentaries and things like that, and does all that jazz already. So I've seen quite a bit of his work. Nothing to do with UFOs.
Yeah,
No.
I'm just kind of interested to know which of the 4 nice things that you can call Greer will you be using? Will you be calling him Mr. Greer, Mr. Stephen Greer, Dr. Greer, or Dr. Stephen Greer?
I think I'll refer to him as Dr. Greer initially. Whether we stick to that or whether we drop the doctor moniker. Because to me, I mean, he hasn't been a practicing doctor in years. He doesn't hold a current medical license. He can't because he hasn't been practicing. So I don't think he's got the right to call himself Dr. Greer. But there's a different view to that in America. You know, obviously in America, ex-presidents still get to call themselves Mr. President. You know, retired generals still get to call themselves general. Mayors get to call themselves mayor forevermore. You know, I mean, the likes of like Rudy Giuliani, I mean, he's always referred to as Mr. Mayor and things like that, just as a mark of respect. So it may well be that if you've been, you've qualified as a doctor and practiced as a doctor, you can use the doctor moniker forevermore. But I think it just gives a false sense of credibility, in the same way that you get some people who are doctors of like psychology or sociology, and they maybe talk about medical terms and people think they're actually medical doctors and they're not. His is the reverse. He is a medical doctor, but he's trying to purport to that doctor or doctorate being for something else sometimes. So it's tricky. Are you not a fan of Stephen Greer's Q?
I have very, very mixed opinions over him.
Yeah, I'm like that myself.
I mean, he certainly helped, like you were talking about a moment ago, the Roswell case. He brought that back into the limelight back in his day. Whether that's a valid case or not, like you guys were saying before, it's definitely a point of opinion.
Yeah, one rabbit hole I've kind of gone down a little bit is one of the guys he had on the disclosure at the press club was Mark McCandlish, who's the illustrator who illustrated the Fluxliner craft that his friend originally saw at some air show or something. And he's sadly passed away a year or two ago now, but he's quite credible in what he's sort of said and talked about. So there'll be parts of that I think I might talk upon. You could make a whole documentary on him on his own, but sadly he's not about any longer. But whereas the likes of Clifford Stone is another one of the guys, and there's guys that were like in the FAA and stuff like that, they're less credible. There's quite a few of the people that he had talking at the press club that, like the dude Adair, David Adair? Yeah, David Adair. He's just full of nonsense, half the stuff that he says, and that just lowers the credibility of what everyone's trying to do with UFO disclosure. Because I mean, supposedly he built rockets as a kid and then was seconded by the Air Force and taken to Area 51 and shown an alien engine or something, or some kind of device and all that kind of thing. And when he goes on the sort of talk circuit UFO conferences and that, he talks about doing work with trillionaires or billionaires in the Middle East who are giving them basically endless money to, go back to the moon or whatever. But none of that's true. Nothing's ever going to happen with it. The guy's going to go to his grave having never built another rocket in his life. Again, that's another piece that Stephen Campion's big on. He seems to hit him, Greer, and Linda Moulton Howe quite a lot are the ones, as well as Corey Good he's been looking at lately.
Oh yeah, that Corey Good case is fire.
Yeah,
at the moment.
he's not done himself much favours, has he? Not that I ever believed him anyway.
Nobody bought his flying car yet.
Is that not Wilcox?
That's Wilcox.
That's Wilcox.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I get confused with these blonde hairs.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they do work together.
Yeah.
I think they've fallen out now. No, I don't think they have now. No, I think they've fallen out.
It adds to the drama of the group.
Yeah.
So Q, you mentioned Roswell with Stephen Greer. So I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Where are your thoughts when it comes to Roswell?
My honest thought, it was one of their own craft that went down. And sticking to the original story, because originally it was one craft that went down that Matt Brazel found. Was it a weather balloon? No. Years later, when they came out and said, we're going to tell you what it really was, it wasn't a weather balloon. It was actually a weather balloon. Project Moog.
That's right.
And the big difference was it had a super top secret device on it that could detect gamma rays, and they wanted to detect whether the Russians were doing nuclear testing. Yeah, more bullshit.
Can I say this? You see this guy Wyatt Earp? He's an ex-CIA agent.
Which guy Wyatt Earp?
That's in the chat. He's an ex-CIA agent.
Oh, is he?
All right.
Yeah.
Come join us, Wyatt Earp.
When he's saying he's just had a stroke, so he's having trouble speaking, but he's when he's telling you he's been to Area 51, he's been there.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to come on the show sometime. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
I want him on my show.
Well.
The best way I can put this is one of his many jobs. I hope you don't mind me saying this. I think it's a bit of a public knowledge by now, but he was an information extractor, and that's the best way I'm going to put it. And I'm not saying no more.
Well, welcome on anytime, and wish you a speedy recovery, my friend. Oh, Heather Birdie, thank you so much. Happy holidays, Alien Addict. You're the best. I know I am. I'm ill as shit, though. So you nearly didn't get a show tonight, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $2.
How's the Bailey's going down? Is it sitting well?
It's going pretty well. My ice cube melted, so it's
a bit watery now.
No, it's still there. Still got like half an ice cube, but no, it's all right. It's all right. It's not as good as the beer, but I just don't think I could take a beer at the minute.
I told you, man.
No.
Do you know
You're better with the whiskey orientated stuff when it comes to cold, I always reckon.
Yeah, I could do with a proper whiskey. I ain't gone in.
I would recommend a herbal.
Yeah.
So Q, you think when you say you think it was US tech that crashed?
Most likely.
So why would they report it as a UFO? The military.
But the thing is, at the time, they used to take the piss and they used to do all sorts. I mean, anybody who sees something, and we only need one of these sightings to be correct, but anybody that sees anything, they always get slandered, put down, ridiculed. And it's just a way of distraction, because I don't think any of the governments around the world really want us to know what's going on, because, well, the four of us and everybody watching this show are all looking for UFOs. We're not looking at what it really could be. And it actually could just be the newest, latest plane. I mean, look at the likes of the SR-71.
Yeah.
Nobody knew about that. Well, some people did, obviously. But that was kept so secret. And by the time we actually found out that there was actually a plane that flew just inside of the stratosphere, 80-odd thousand feet or whatever it was, where the pilots wear spacesuits, literally, to keep them alive, where the outside of the plane was built from the latest technology because it traveled, well, they say Mach 3.5,
Yeah, it was
and that was
coated
always.
titanium, wasn't it? That they nicked from the Russians.
Well,
They bought it in
they had to
small
build it
quantities from
from
the
the
Russians.
ground up.
Yeah.
And they had 3 built. 2 of them had been tested in 18 months. Nowadays, Christ, you can't get a bolt for a plane past in 18 months. But then, they wanted a plane that would fly higher and faster. But that's another thing I always find funny. When they actually did the speed test where they say it could fly at Mach 3.5, there was a little bit of a problem with that speed test. They only had one of the 2 engines on. Don't you think it'd have gone a little bit faster if they had both on? Weird,
Probably.
that, isn't it? And they
They
say,
slowed it down.
they say, people can only take so many Gs. Yeah, humans can take a lot more Gs than 3.5 Gs, particularly when they've got the suits that they wear.
Yeah, but also like the G's are all relative. I mean, if they're like pulling heavy maneuvers, which you wouldn't do with that kind of plane, then yeah, you're going to experience heavy positive G. But if he's just gradually increasing the speed, that's going to be relative to the craft. He's not going to feel it. The G's are not going to affect him. He's still going to be sitting in an aircraft that isn't pulling that many G's.
I mean,
Possibly.
I agree with both of you, to be honest with you. I mean, I just can't get over, though, why put it out as a flying saucer in the first place?
Maybe just be like psyops, disinformation, get people going down their track. One thing that Q sort of raised, I mean, of the fact that it could be one of like America's own craft. I mean, obviously they had Operation Paperclip after, like during and after the war, and brought Germans over because that's obviously what kicked off the Apollo, Mercury, and then Apollo programs. But it could well be that the Germans had some kind of UFO style tech. I mean, we've all seen the photos and the Glock, whatever it is, and all that kind of stuff. So it could well be they brought stuff over and were mucking about with it, and it went tits up wrong.
Well, I mean, the Glock, there's never really been. There's always been speculation over what that thing actually was.
Yeah.
We talked about the bell.
Yeah, the bell.
Yeah.
Some people were saying it was a time machine. Some people were saying this, that, and the other. But there's never actually been, to my knowledge, any really good foundation of proof with that. It's all been speculation.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, speculation isn't really good enough.
No, it's not evidence.
It does sell magazines.
Especially not in the UFO world.
Especially. But I mean, when they got Jesse Marcel in with, was it Raimi, whatever, and they took that photograph, what Matt Brazel found in his field was not a weather balloon. I always remember a documentary that was on many, many years ago, and one person from Roswell passed the comment that even their dog knew what a weather balloon looked like because they were letting them off daily. It wasn't just like a rare occasion to let a weather balloon off from that area. They were going up daily.
Yeah, because the base was the base with the nuclear warheads, wasn't it? Like that was the place that they kept what nuclear stockpile they had that would go on a plane. So they were obviously prepared for action at any point. So they would be putting up weather balloons on a daily basis, and the locals would see them.
Yeah, well, originally it was Roswell Air Force Base or something like that, and then they ended up changing the name of it.
Roswell Army Air Force, wasn't it? Because the actual Air Force didn't come into being until after Roswell.
Yeah. And then they changed it to a different name, and I can't remember what the name was. But
Have you ever entertained the fact that it could have been German?
it's always a possibility, isn't it?
Because that would explain to me, and I think both me and actual Kyle have this same view, I have no idea where he is. If anybody knows where you know where Kyle is, Q? We spoke to him recently.
I'll say no.
No, is it? But he's well, at least.
I actually can't actually tell you that because I don't know.
Okay.
The last time I saw Kyle around was a while ago. I have tried to contact him, and he seems to have gone silent at the moment.
Yes, same for me. So hope you're well, mate, and Merry Christmas. But we have a very similar view that it may have been a German craft that crashed in Roswell after the war.
German, as in Germans who were under the control of the US.
Nazis.
Nazis, right.
Nazis, yeah. And that would explain.
So what, they flying up from like Argentina or from Antarctica or wherever?
I have that bit. I haven't thought that far ahead. But it would explain to me the cover-up of UFO and then taking it back the next day. Because maybe they did think it were a UFO. And maybe at the time, they didn't even think it out and think, well, we've found a UFO. Let's just announce it to the fucking world. You know? We're the first country to find a flying saucer. People have been talking about it for a long time now. We found one. We've got it. No, boss, it's got some Nazis inside. It was Nazi symbols on it.
There's a swastika on the side.
Take that out of the papers. It's not a UFO. It's fucking balloon, you know? They panicked because they thought, shit, what is this? That's
a theory I've never heard before, and I like it.
Yeah, it would explain the putting it out as a flying saucer and then taking it back the next following day, when they actually found out what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's always a possibility, isn't it?
We'll never.
I mean, the one thing I always found amusing was the fact that Jesse Milcelli was supposed to be like the intelligence officer for the base. Now, he was only very young at the time, but he was still holding a unique and responsible position. The fact that they could make him go on camera and get that absolutely diabolical picture taken of him, saying, oh yeah, well, what I thought was a UFO was actually the silver foil and balsa wood. Absolutely disgraceful. That was possibly the worst cover-up of all time. It certainly wasn't a weather.
It's an awkward photo as well. It's like...
Yeah, he doesn't look happy kneeling down, does he?
Well, that piece of paper that was being held as well, I mean, people have done research on that to see what was actually said on it. Now, if you believe the work that's been done on it, then that is extremely interesting.
I never looked into that. That's cool.
Yeah, the piece of paper was...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I've never actually dug deep enough to go down that rabbit hole.
Part-time Pete's asking Q a question.
Part-time Pete?
Part-time Pete.
Kecksburg, which...
Why not full-time Pete?
Which one was the Kecksburg incident? I get confused with all the names. I'm old.
In 66.
This one here.
Was that the World Cup?
Q, stop diverting the truth. Just tell us where he is. Where is he? He's on about Kyle.
Talking about Kyle. I don't know where Kyle is. The last time I've messaged Kyle a number of times, and he normally gets back to me within an hour or so. The last time I messaged Kyle, he didn't get back. And then about 2 days later, he actually put a comment on somebody else's Twitter. So he's still alive, or at least he was 3 or 4 months ago when he last did his last
Yeah, that's
Twitter
when I
message.
last. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Let's just hope he's having a real fucking good time.
I've never heard of Kecksburg before. 1965, Pennsylvania. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, I can't actually think offhand which one that
That
is.
rings a bell. Just ring a bell.
Occurred in December of
I'm not a
1965,
ufologist though.
when a fireball was reported by citizens 6 United U.S. states and Canada over Detroit, Michigan, and Windsor, Ontario. Astronomers said it was likely to have been a meteor boloid burning up in the atmosphere and descending at a steep angle. NASA released a statement in 2005 reporting that experts had examined fragments from the area and determined they were from a Soviet satellite, but that records of their findings were lost in 1987. NASA responded to court orders and FOIA requests to search for records. Incident gained worldwide notoriety in popular culture and ufology. There you go.
My lad Dave Miller.
It's always interesting how these files just disappear.
Yeah.
We can't go back to the moon because we lost the technology to do it. Oh, don't get me started with that. Dave, by the way, you're welcome on if you're about. I don't know if you're driving the truck, but whatever. If you're not, join the show. Yeah, that irritates the shit out of me. That whole how we lost the technology to go back to the moon. How about we fuck off? No, you didn't lose. You don't just lose technology that took you to the fucking moon.
You don't.
You really don't.
Not at all. Especially to get through the Van Halen belt. And I did say Van Halen.
That's not me saying they didn't go to the moon at all. I'm not saying that. If Lee was here, he'd say that. But I can understand why people do say that, because NASA are so fucking shady. Absolutely shady bastards. They literally are never a straight answer. And the problem with trust is when you come out with big statements like that say we've lost the technology. Why you could give us a little bit more than that. You could say, listen, it's too fucking expensive. We can't do it anymore, or whatever. I refuse to believe. What is it? 7 times we went to the moon. 7?
Yeah.
7 times we went to the moon, and then we just thought, you know what? This is getting a bit boring, bit expensive. We'll do that moon base in. We'll wait another 60 years or so. We'll do it then.
Well, see, what I don't understand about this now is there's got to be something there on the moon, because wasn't Trump issuing mineral rights out to the moon, or was it just another grift?
I don't know about that, mate. And it was
definitely helium-3.
Space.
I mean, there's reckon there's over 1 million metric tons of helium-3 that could get mined off the surface.
And what is that in layman's terms?
In layman's terms, that could be used for nuclear. Just was it last week they announced like the one was it Lawrence Livermore Labs did the first sort of sustained nuclear fusion, and actually got more energy out of it than they'd put in. If they used helium-3 to fuse the atoms together, it would give a better fusion.
Some more energy.
Yeah, you would get a lot
more
energy. I mean, potentially like 25, supposedly 25 tons of helium-3 could power the whole of the United States for like over a year. That's the figures they band about. I don't know the truth in that, but it's interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of money in the moon. Once the technology gets sorted out for mining asteroids and the moon and stuff like that, that's when you'll see the first trillionaires and things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Hell
going
of
to
a
be
lot of money
insane,
kicking
man.
about in space.
Future looks crazy.
When it comes to cover up aircraft, though, they could have covered that up. They went there enough times to get maybe, well, the times that we saw them go there on the TV.
Yeah.
Why would we need to know if they've got a base up there?
I mean, have you seen that documentary that supposedly shows like different shapes and potentially like outline of habitats and like big huge bridges and things that look like satellites and
I've
all
seen
that
some
kind
of
stuff.
that, and I like back in the early days, I did a lot of that shit on my channel, and a lot of it does. Have you ever looked through a telescope at the moon? And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do get that. You get that atmosphere distort. There's some really interesting clips I've seen and pictures of the moon where you're looking at in a crater and you think that's odd looking, that, but
Yeah.
there's not, when you're looking at it through a telescope, there is a distort. There's a distort on that. So you know what I mean, don't you? Get that shimmer.
Yeah, there's the kind of, it's the atmospheric sort of haze. The only decent telescope I've ever looked through was at Paisley Observatory in Paisley, and it's a really old-fashioned massive telescope, but it's smack bang practically in the middle of the town, so there's a lot of light pollution kicking about.
You think about the logic, if aliens or whatever, or if it's us and we're building fucking cities on the moon, phones, telescopes, and everything like that are getting, especially mobile phones. Now, my missus has got a Galaxy Samsung Ultra thing. You can take pictures of you can zoom right into craters on that phone. Don't look amazing, but
you can do it.
Given some time, I don't think people would be stupid enough to build bases in craters for us to one day get a piece of tech in the public's hands and go, oh fuck, look, there's a McDonald's on the moon. I don't.
I mean, obviously, we've had footage back from the recent Artemis launch that went, around the moon and stuff. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of footage on YouTube that you can look at, and it's good quality stuff. But like, obviously, because the moon's tidally locked, if you are going to put a base on it, you've just got to put it on what they call the dark side of the moon, which is not actually dark, but the side that we don't see.
You ever seen one of them lunar waves?
Yeah, I have. Not.
No, what's that?
It's crazy. A friend of mine captured one, and it's like I don't think it's the moon doing it. I think it's the actual atmosphere doing it. See,
is it like a sort of banding wave that goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it looks like it's a gravitational wave.
I'll see if I can find it. Well,
I think didn't Einstein talk about that?
It's weird.
It took them years to prove that gravity was waves.
One of the greatest videos that I've ever had the privilege of showing on my channel was, at first it was I entitled it "The Moon with Lights" because there was a lot of lights on the moon,
right?
And it's a very rare phenomena. I actually had to look it up. I put it out and I looked it up, and what it turned out to be, it's very rare that they photograph it, but we had video of this, so that's even rarer in itself. But when it releases the gases that's within the surface, they light up.
Yeah.
Right, and like the sun reflects off them at an angle, and it looks as if there's lights bouncing back at us.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. It's
I think I have
really
seen
cool.
stuff like that, but I've not looked into it.
I think I might have fucking found it.
I
Is
think
it
I've
from
seen the
Crow?
gravitational wave thing you're talking about, but I could be wrong.
Is it from Crow 777? I
It's
don't know if he was the first one to burn it out. I know other people have caught it, but he was the first one to like. Everybody was like, "What the hell?"
This is like me back in. I mean, Q, you might remember this, and Stu, you might. This is like when
Why
I used to
won't I?
just.
Hold on, you left me out. Why won't I?
Because I didn't know you watched me back then.
You don't know, man.
Did you?
Is
You
this
might
blue
have.
tone, Ollie? We're about
I
to
must
hit.
have.
Yeah,
I must have watched you from somewhere.
This is like Predator Vision, Ollie. When I
right.
used to, where the hell is it?
Because I used to hang out in your chats, man, and had a giggle.
I know. I just can't remember. You were there when I first started going live, but I didn't used to do live shows. It was literally just me in my office, which is now my kids' room. Little shits taking everything.
The joys of family.
Share screen.
As I listen to mine making noise up the stair.
You do realise, Ollie, you're going to hell for that comment.
Oh no.
Or he'll get a good smack round the lug from his wife.
When you get there, just save me a seat.
There we go.
Got it?
Got it. I'm so unprepared
Nice.
tonight. Oh.
Hovis, Olives.
Good evening, folks.
Olvis.
Olvis 51 here.
I wasn't even called Alien
Sorry,
Addict.
I've been away for a little bit.
Jesus, that is Predator time.
Waves, and I've been seeing these over the past. Well, I haven't personally seen them, but I've seen them on YouTube. I've seen them on science stuff.
Science stuff. Right, check this out. Let's get rid of this idiot.
UFO footage. He doesn't make
No,
a
that
big
was
deal out of the.
entertaining.
Right, here we go.
Now,
Okay.
because you might think, that's just a special effects, but I follow the channel, and if you follow the channel, you'll know that he doesn't put rubbish out. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to astronomy. I can't say that word.
I think I was drunk at the time.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, loads of people are saying that these are holograms. The moon's a hologram. A lot of flat Earth theorists are saying that. I don't think it's a hologram.
That just looks like it's an atmospheric distortion.
It could be a
It's just
natural
really
thing.
straight.
Yeah, that's what I
Maybe
think
it's a shockwave. I mean, the moon is what? It's our shield, isn't it? Asteroids hit the moon. Maybe they send these waves going across the moon. I have actually asked in the comments below a few people what this is.
They told you to get lost.
People can't really seem to answer it.
This here, though, that's in the top corner, because I didn't know how to present a video back then. You see that lightning weird thing there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
actually
gas.
that's in the NASA archives.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That would be that phenomena of the gas.
Yeah.
Do you not think it's something? I mean, looking back at it, because I'm like, what the hell is this? But now I'm looking and thinking, I wonder if it's something to do with the camera effect.
I don't think it's the camera. I think it's atmospheric. I mean, you can get that sort of rippling effect from, like, magnetic tape. But
that's on the NASA website. That it's just in the corner of a big blown up picture, and if you zoom in, you can see this weird effect.
I think Hidden's right. I think that's like it's a gassing off of whatever on the surface.
Honestly, I didn't know that the moon leaked gas. I never knew about it till I had that video.
I was
There you
vaguely
go.
aware of
Can you
it.
see,
but
can you see that?
yeah.
See that ripple thing?
Hmm.
I would say, I personally would say it's an atmospheric anomaly, but what it is, I have no idea.
I
Object
agree.
shadow, just so it was in a frame for 70 frames.
I think it's
Half
probably
a
going to
second.
be from. Do you reckon it's from our side rather than on the moon?
Yeah. Well, there's no atmosphere on the moon, so it's got to be our
Oh
atmosphere.
no, I know there's no atmosphere on the moon. That's what they tell us anyway.
There is, just not a lot.
A very, very, yeah, it's very minor.
You can just dip your toe in it.
It's like,
Here's a little bit of atmosphere for you. Now, jog on.
but yeah, no, that's cool, but I don't know what it is.
And it's been caught many times by many astronomers.
Yeah, it's like loads of people. It's really hard to get, but every now and again, somebody captures this lunar wave thing.
Where I've seen it before is the YouTube channel Smarter Every Day, Declan Samlin. He's put a video up with it before and asked, "What is this?" That's where I've seen it, which he's captured through his telescope.
And I saw it through. I saw it through the great Crow 777. He caught it himself as well. A few times.
He never even said, gravitational waves or anything like that, or he just said, "What the hell is this?" But that's cool.
Maybe it's
I like stuff like that.
Maybe
I mean, I wonder if, like, say if a plane flies by, you've got the telescope pointing up at the sky. From the plane's engines, I don't know. No.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something like that, but it's hard to say.
I think we're just clutching at straws.
Yeah, I was thinking that. You read my mind.
But I don't think anybody's come out with an explanation for it. Q, do you know if anybody's come out with an explanation to what that actually is?
No, to me it looks as though it could be something on our side of the atmosphere, to be perfectly honest, but I don't know.
Still pretty cool to look at.
Even on our end, though, that's weird that we get this ripple.
It's very straight, even to the, it's not as if it's like coming across the frame at an angle, what you call like filmmaking Dutch angle, but it's coming across really, really, straight to the edge of the vertical. So that kind of does lean into, could it be,
it could be proof that the Earth is flat. That could be actually our eclipse.
Yeah, when are we getting Orphan Red back on? Just to digress a second.
Oh, sorry, I'm playing, man. I didn't mean that.
You're lucky I'm not modded here. I'd have booted you at that point.
You love flat earthers, Q.
Oh, yeah, like a hole in the head.
Breakfast.
I'm not a flat earther.
I wanted to be a flat earther.
I've interviewed quite a few. I've got no malice.
Yeah, you had Orphan Red on a few weeks ago, and she wouldn't let me come on and play.
Lovely lady, but she couldn't explain meteorites. So
I've had that explained to me. I was talking to this flat earther, and I had that explained to me. But it's whether I believe that, no. But he explained it. Because I asked him about that. And he said, imagine a beer, an ice cold beer in a nice glass on a hot day. So what you get is condensation at the top of the glass, and it rolls down. And he said, when it rolls down the dome, it heats up. And this is why we can see it like that.
Okay.
That's the best explanation I heard so far for it, because I asked him that question. I asked him about the stars, but the one thing, when they're talking about the stars, I always say, well, it's a good theory what you're saying, but you can't measure the distance of the stars because you don't know how far the actual light that's emanating from the star is actually how far away it is. So you can't tell how it moves.
I had a flat earther tell me that the reason why what was it now? Oh, it was orphan actually. So I was saying, explain the craters on the moon. Why is the craters on the moon? And then she said to me, well, if you look at the craters, why are they not all like sideways on? So I just said, yeah, you know, why are the big round craters on the moon? And I said, I mean, and I am no science guy, but I just literally pulled this out of my ass and I went, you know, say this is the moon and this is Earth, and you get an asteroid that's coming in to Earth, and it doesn't hit Earth, but it gets slingshotted round Earth, is going to hit the fucking moon head on. And that is why you're going to get the massive craters, because it's picked up speed, because it's been slingshotted round. They also say, what is it? That why the rockets don't go straight up. Well, you know, it's a bit like a car. You'll stall the fucking shit out of it, so it has to fucking rear off. There's a game that I used to play called Kerbal Space Program, so I think any flat earther should have a little go on that game. And it kind of like...
Oh, they always go east, don't they? They always head east to follow the spin.
Yeah, but they have to rear off like that to get into a fucking orbit of Earth, because if they just went straight up, they're fucked. It'd use so much fucking... the amount of fuel it would take to go, and the power of the fucking engine, we'd need fucking proper UFO tech to be able to actually do that, to be able to take off from Earth and just go straight up and not fucking go into an orbit.
That's why they launch from like Cape Canaveral or from like South America, because you want to be as close to the equator as possible, so that you've got the most amount of velocity from the planet, effectively, to slingshot you out.
Tell you what I didn't know, and I may have this wrong, but is that not where the fucking Bermuda Triangle is, where it takes off from?
Yeah,
pretty
much.
How weird is that? You ever thought about that? We're sending things into space, and we're close to the fucking...
Using an Earth's vortex.
I can't say it. Bermuda Triangle. I mean, what a place to do it.
Yeah.
It's like saying hello. We told you all.
Did Rick go to the launch of Artemis?
No, he didn't make it. I think he was trying to get there and he just couldn't get there.
I haven't done my head on it. I'm sorry if
it got cancelled when he did it. I'm sure it did.
Yeah,
they tried to get there,
pushing it off. But I mean, if I lived within an hour's drive of, you know, Cape Canaveral, I'd be down there. I'd love to see a launch.
Yeah, I would.
It would be cool.
I went to see one when I was a kid. My mum and dad, I was fortunate for my mum and dad took me to Florida to watch a space shuttle launch, and it fucking rained and got cancelled because of a little bit of rain.
Yeah,
that'd have been fucking amazing. But went to Disneyland instead. There you go. So
right on Space Mountain.
So Q, you've come to the theory, because I can't remember you always having this thought, and I've spoken to you a few times, mainly on UFO proof. But are you thinking that maybe all these aliens and UFOs, there's possibly no such thing as them as we know it on Earth, and it's just our tech?
See, this is where I'm stuck, and I am stuck on the fence, because I fully 100% believe that there is life in the universe.
Yeah.
The part I'm stuck on is whether it's actually been here. Because when you look back, even with the idea of like ancient aliens and stuff like that, there is a lot of very interesting stuff. But interesting doesn't make it fact.
Mhm.
When it comes to UFO videos, shall we say, and footage that gets put out, I think that,
Blobs.
well, there's so many misidentifications.
Mhm.
There's so many cases where, we've been told it's smog gas, where it's obviously not. But that still doesn't mean it's technically a UFO, a little green man from Mars or whatever, the planet Zorgon. I think a lot of the genuine footage where we're seeing something that isn't behaving like an ordinary plane, shall we say, can be new tech stuff. But I am still stuck on saying, yeah, I believe it's a UFO. And the problem is, if I was to see something myself and film it myself, to me, that really can't even still be proof, because it could still be some new high-tech piece of equipment. So I'm in a little bit of a quandary when it comes to
You've
that
seen
question.
lights in the sky, though, yeah? You've seen.
I've seen way back in the day when I was about 13, I saw a sighting that ended up in the Liverpool Echo. It was something like August the 13th. And in the Liverpool Echo, it ended up going down, and people could check up on this actual event. It was the day Liverpool Football Club first signed Kenny Dalglish to the club as a football player.
Yeah.
So this was, Christ, back
Late 70s?
78-ish, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And I was actually going with my mother down Melwood Drive, which was close to where I lived, and we're just walking along. I'm only a young kid, about 13-ish, and purely out the corner of my eye, I saw a flash go upwards, and when I looked like that, there was nothing there. And I turned and said to my mother, "Did you just see lightning?" And she was like, "No." I went, "It was weird. It was like lightning, but it went upwards." No, didn't see anything. So that was the end of that conversation. The following day in the Liverpool Echo, there'd been a 40-odd-year-old police officer washing his car, and apparently, according to his story, and I am paraphrasing this slightly because I don't remember the exact story, the exact details, but for roughly 20-odd minutes, while he was washing his car, he observed over Liverpool's training ground, not their football ground, because that's in Anfield, this is in West Derby, but over their training ground, he watched a round light just sitting there. At first, he said he thought it could have been a helicopter, but there was no sound. He then went on to say that it suddenly, within a split second, shot straight up into the sky and was gone within a fraction of a second. Now, I think I saw that, but
You saw the aftermath.
as for a sighting, really, really crap from my side.
But you think you saw the flash?
I think so, yeah.
And according to your memory, does it match the kind of time frame that he reported?
Yes, it was. It was the exact same time frame. I think it was.
Is that what got you into the subject then?
Yeah. That was the big one for me.
Interesting. That what got me into this subject is I don't know if I've ever told you, my father, when he was in the Merchant Navy, they reported something that shot from one end of the horizon to the other like that in the 80s, which when you talk about our tech, you could be right. Maybe we are way ahead of what we're being shown. We always say that countries, they play chess very well, some not so much, or some just play the game. But
yeah, we say the 40 to 50 years ahead, don't we?
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's true.
Oh, I
The
think
thing is, if it was that true, why wouldn't they, when it comes to one of these wars around the world, why don't they just finish it instantly? Launch the ship or the spaceship, whatever, let's say from America, fly over around the world to whatever country, take them out and be back in seconds. Because if that was a craft, I honestly can't say that was advanced technology, because it was way faster than anything. Way, way, way faster than anything.
You thought it was lightning?
Lightning, but going upwards. It was that quick. As I say, I just saw a flash, and as I went like that, it was gone. And if it hadn't been for the fact that the following day in the Liverpool Echo, a copper on Daysbrook Lane, which ran parallel with Melwood,
Police officer for you in the States.
Yeah, police officer. If it hadn't have been for that, I wouldn't be talking about it now.
Wowzers. I mean, that police guy's still alive.
I don't know. He was in his 40s at the time, so probably not. Or if he is, he's going to be late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's probably going to be an exaggerated conversation if you had a conversation about a UFO from back then. If he's in his 80s. I know my granddad, it would have been during the war. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to bail out.
No worries, mate. I'm literally going for another 15 minutes because, like I said, I have been dying this entire week. I just want
your
to
eyes
show my
have been
face
getting
tonight.
heavier and heavier and heavier.
Yeah, mate, the sweat coming out of me right now is unreal. I don't know what this is. It's not COVID, people.
Yeah.
Done a test.
I've got a pupper here kind of hinting wanting out, so I better go and take her out before it gets too late.
Stu, my lad.
But listen, guys, have a good Christmas and New Year when it comes, and I'll
good luck with the film
in between.
Merry Christmas.
What are we saying about a year? 2 years?
If I get a good run at it, I think I would be able to release it next October, so October 23. But who knows? Obviously, I've got to work and pay the bills. That always comes first. Unless somebody wants to, pay me to do it, then that's another matter entirely.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't see that happening. So yeah, I think late next year. But I'll definitely have some kind of early-ish teaser trailer to put out on the channel. Springtime, I would think by then I'll have enough content to throw something together.
Beautiful. Look forward to it, mate.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Right, guys, have a good one, and I'll
catch you later, mate. Merry Christmas and all that jazz.
Cheers.
Stay safe, Stu.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, Stu used to work for the Scottish press, and he's seen. Do you remember the Calvine UFO?
Was that the one that was seen by a couple of different people, and they were able to kind of triangulate it?
The one that people have been speculating, is it a reflection? What is it? It's that big triangle thing. Might have a clip of it. Oh, Bob. Oh, Bob. Have a
Is it the
Merry
one that
Christmas and
looks
Happy New
like it
Year.
could be in the sky? Or
It's got a plane underneath it, what looks like a Harrier.
right, or is that actually taken looking down on a lake and the plane is doing a low flying test where the plane looks as though it's beneath it or is actually just closer to the camera
Yeah.
and
I
skimming
have
the
done
water?
so many videos on that Calvine UFO when it started to make its rounds, debunking it, showing the location of it. Stu got in touch with me, and apparently there's 5 pictures of it, but there's only one. So he's seen the other 4 pictures because he was working as a photographer at the time. He's now a video editor, nothing to do with UFOs or anything like that. And that's how he got in touch with me, because he saw me speaking about it on the channel. So that is not in the description, but you can head on back down my videos and it's there. It's worth a look. But he did a recreation of what he actually saw, and he saw the plane at different angles on these frames, what they call them, negatives. The negatives. They were on a wall together with some prints. He had no idea what it was at the time, but spoke to one of the guys at the thing and says, "What is this?" And he says, "It's a UFO." And that's one of the things that got him into the subject in the first place. But yeah, he's seen the other clips of the Calvine UFO. Thank you, Bob.
See, I'd like to see them because when you look
I
at
would
that
love to see 'em.
closely, the bottom of the craft, because the top of the craft isn't actually symmetrical. When you
Yeah, it
look at
doesn't look it, no.
the shading on it, and the bottom of the craft, if it is a craft, kind of has the exact same unsymmetrical
Yeah.
parts, which makes me
Like
think,
in a lake.
just like Jackie Radford said in the chat there, the Rock and Lock spacecraft.
So I did. I found the actual what I thought was the location, and that's when Stu got in touch with me, because he wasn't saying it was 100% a UFO, but he did say what he saw didn't look like a rock, and it looked like heat. It looked like the whole picture had, like when you look down a road that's fucking red when it's on a red hot day, and it's got that shimmer. That's what he said it looked like. But he said he could see some, like, what looked like in on the pictures, because I don't know the full photography terms of this. He's not on anymore, but it's them tools that you get to look at a negative close, like a magnifier, but there's a technical word for it. I don't know what it's called. He told me about it. You'll have to watch it, Q. It's quite an interesting live stream when he came on to reveal the Calvine UFOs. He did a recreation of it all as well. It's pretty interesting. And I spoke to him. I think I spoke to him about 3 hours before we even did that live stream, because I wanted to make sure that he wasn't full of shit. And I get a feel for somebody when they're telling me a story. Is this just a fucking I want to come on and say some bullshit, or I want to come on and just tell a story? But to me, he definitely saw those pictures of that Calvine UFO, which he doesn't claim it was a fucking craft. He just says he does, from the pictures that he remembers when he was, I think he's in his He's older than me. I think he was a teenage. He just left school, got a job as a photographer, and he was. I think he's in his teens at the time when he did that. So that was the 90s. But what is odd about that photo, and it's the same thing for me when it comes to anything that is UFO related, when somebody is accusing somebody of faking something, after all that time, nobody's ever said, we faked this. Nobody's ever come clean. We don't know who these two guys are. Everybody speculates to who these two people are that took this picture of this triangle that, for me, yes, does look like from the actual picture, not the recreations that Stu made, but the actual picture that we see looks like the tip of a rock coming out of water and a reflection underneath. That's what it looks like to me. And that the Harrier jump jet is probably been very cleverly done to make that effect. But that's not what he saw. He saw that aircraft move, and I believe he said there were a second aircraft in one of the pictures.
See, I think that the plane could have actually been on that
Real.
picture. Yeah. And I mean, just like they do it all the time in Wales when they're doing military maneuvers. They fly over the ground and they're really, really close as they go down the valleys. And I'm sure they do exactly the same in Scotland when they're doing their training runs. And I think that it's a point of perspective. The plane is closer, flying low to the ground, which, because of the perspective of the picture, makes the plane look as though it's flying through the sky, but in actual fact, it's flying, yes, through the sky, but low down. And I just think it's a point of perspective.
We've recently, so on the subject of people not coming clean, or people coming clean with something, but never proving that they did a hoax. Do you remember the alien autopsy? The one in 1995 that was the Race and Tilly, whatever his name is, the one that was very graphic.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it's absolute bullshit.
Okay. Have you watched it recently?
I've watched that not recently.
Watch it after tonight's show. Watch it after tonight's show.
Bit straight to the point and blunt.
I wouldn't say blunt. I'd say direct.
No, this is what I love about you.
Yeah.
So why do you what is bullshit? What do you think is bullshit about that?
See, I find this with a lot of these pieces of footage. There are so many ways of faking stuff now. You can use cheap ways where you use mirrors, where you're using reflections, points of perspective. And then we've now got the whole drone thing. We've also got the whole CGI thing, which some of the CGI stuff can be made to look fantastic. You've just got to find the faults in it.
And the AI. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the new one, isn't it? And some of that is absolutely stunning. But I think when we have a piece of footage where the background story is dubious, and it certainly was with that one, I think what we have to do is not look at the footage and look into the background of the person.
I agree, 100%.
Who put it out there. And I think the guy who put it out there was a piece of crap.
So the guy that claimed to have faked it made what? So I don't know how much they must have made on the alien autopsy tape, but I can remember buying it. I watched it last week with I think Lee and Dave after the show because Dave had never seen it, and I knew Hidden. You watching it as well, were you?
Sorry.
You watching the tape with us live, the one that's been banned off YouTube.
Yeah.
So here's the real crazy thing for me, Q, is you try and find that autopsy on YouTube. It's nowhere. You cannot see that alien that thing get cut up on YouTube. If you go to other sites like Rumble, you can. But on YouTube, you can watch a real person get a full autopsy on. But you can't see a fake alien get an autopsy on. Not only that, if this guy has come out and he said it was fake, yeah? He said, we faked this. As an artist, there would be a money maker in showing that dummy, whatever that was, show the original color footage and show how you did it. I think you would, if you're gonna eventually come out and say we faked it, you would have a backup to then make some more money on the back of it. So you'd make the money on the fake, then you'd make the money on the this is how we did it. That's my problem with it. And if you watch the footage again, I mean, to me and I think Hayden, did you agree with me last week when we were all talking? We all said it looked like a real person being chopped up. If you look at it compared to a real autopsy.
Yes. But you guys were more homed in, like, was it like a midget or a small child or something like that? We
didn't say alien.
But see, I can't remember if I asked this question, so I'll ask it again. When was this made?
Oh Christ!
1995.
See,
I'm sure that's when it came out.
With the authentic, I don't know if I brought it up, but with the authentic looking off the video, it reminded me of a movie I saw a long time ago called Guinea Pig. You ever heard of it? A Japanese movie.
What type of movie is that?
It was really a bizarre movie, but there is quite folklore to the movie where it was the one that you ever heard Charlie Sheen called the FBI after he watched the movie and he said, I think I watched the Snuff movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But saying that technology, what they did in that movie, and I think that was in the 80s, what they did in that movie is, lucky enough, the guy who made that movie, they took him to court because they saw the movie and they thought, this is real. They had experts in there saying, this is how bones are supposed to sound when it's broken. But lucky enough, this guy was documenting what he was doing, and he had to produce the woman in the movie. She turned up in court.
That's even more interesting.
Look it up. It's called Guinea Pig.
Because for me, when you look at that thing, and they said, Q, that this was a shop floor dummy with some shit over it. So, like the thing you hang your clothes on.
It's in the film industry. I mean, you gotta, in that shot, there's a lot of bad lighting, and you can do a lot
with bad lighting. Yeah, I agree completely.
Excuse me 1 sec.
So, I mean,
it's.
I know what you're saying. Like, I agree with you. A guy that done that superb work surely you would want to document it, like
We had-
what the guy did with guinea pig. He documented
Yeah.
it so he could show how they were getting the sound right and breaking the bones and everything and hacking through it, but it was that realistic.
We are gonna have to do that show.
Body. Sorry.
I'm saying we're gonna have to do that show and play that on probably the small window. I think if I play a little bit of a real autopsy first and just put a full disclosure,
you know what you might try, just uploading the video. Yeah, don't put it out, but put it like on private or unlisted, and then see what copyrights come back.
It's not copyright. Oh, excuse me.
There you go. Cough it up, son. Cough it up.
Oh, terrible, mate.
That's
It's not
copyright.
It's community guideline strikes that's getting people for the alien autopsy video, not copyright. They can't copyright it. It is community guideline strikes that gets you for the alien autopsy. That's the thing. Now, how can you put a real autopsy of a human being on YouTube, but you can't play a fake fucking alien?
Because it's educational. It's medical.
It's educational because we're discussing it. We're discussing whether how they faked it.
Indeed.
So I'm going to try that. I'll take the risk.
It is a good watch, though, man. It is a good watch. Some parts of it looked realistic, but yeah,
I honestly think, and this is coming from somebody who does art and makes shit. I don't have a clue how they did that. I really don't. I mean, I've worked with a little bit of latex and stuff like that. That stuff is whatever they've done that with. Like you said, Hidden, the camera and the way it's being filmed.
It's genius.
It could definitely hide some things, a lot of things. But when you look at the way that has been done and you watch a real person perform an autopsy, I'm not a doctor, but the way they fucking use that knife and the way they fold that skull back, get the bone cutter out and stuff like that, it is done. It looks professional. They said it was a butcher that did it, and the stuff that was in it was just all meat and stuff like that they put in this fucking shop floor dummy. It doesn't add up.
When they pull the parts out, they don't really seem to be connected. But
no, they look like goop.
Yeah, but then again, if it was a real alien, how can we even pretend to know what it should be like?
Exactly.
Well, I'm not saying it's an alien, but I'm saying it might be a little bit more sinister. That hoax might be a little bit more sinister than just a fucking shop floor dummy.
Yeah, I think if it was like some sort of a deformed,
I'm not accusing anybody of murder,
human, I think the parts inside would have been slightly more recognizable, or at least some of them.
Have you seen the documentaries where doctors have looked at the way the autopsy's been done, and they said it's fucking professional?
Oh no, the ones I've seen basically said that.
Oh, they said what's inside doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, some of the ones I've seen though have said that although the idea of what they're doing to an ordinary person might look as though it's supposed to be professional, but it's not actually done correctly. So I guess we've seen different stuff.
Right. I need to see that one.
I've seen nothing.
I've seen one where somebody who works with bodies said that is very professional how that's been done. So there's probably quite a few of them out there. I need to watch a few, but I mean, again, there's a big hoax that's been done. Probably one of the biggest alien hoaxes ever, and there is no There's no video to show that model. No pictures. There's nothing. We don't get anything other than the footage and them saying we hoaxed it. Show us a picture of it. Show us some of the props. Show us something. Anything. Show us receipts. Show us anything. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I know if I created an what would you say, a dummy, I would still have it.
Yeah.
That's some work. That's because that's not a shop mannequin.
Oh no.
No, but that's what they're saying it is, Q.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Who's saying that? Who's saying?
That's what Goofon told me. I don't know where he'd seen that, but Goofon said, I tend to believe him. He said that when they said they'd faked it, they said that they used a mannequin and a butcher filled it up with like guts and stuff, and then they put silicone around it and stuff like that.
I mean, the outside of a mannequin is hard. When you see them cutting into that, it does resemble more flesh-like stuff.
Silicone. If they were going to make it, it would. But it kind of makes sense what he's saying. But I think maybe what they mean is that they used the mannequin as a model, like a mold kind of thing, to get the shape, and then just elaborated on it. Like you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So they used something like that as the mold.
And they might have used the child mannequin.
That would make sense.
But can I
make a mold out of it?
Can I bring it back to like the alien thing though? Because I'm sure in the back of my mind, I remember someone talking about an autopsy, not this one. And they said when they observed it, they saw that it had like no real internal organs. So they reckoned it was some sort of like drone, that it had just enough to function, but it had no internal organs that they couldn't make out. Have you ever heard this story?
No.
And they said that's what the little ones are. Like they say there's two greys.
I've heard of them being drones. I've heard that theory go around that the greys are drones for a long, long time now.
Drones and clones.
Yeah.
But how would that
because I'm saying, well, when they cut them open and you're looking at the internal organs, let's go down the rabbit hole that it might be real. And they open up and you're looking at what was inside, and it's all like just chunks of flesh. It's probably like what you would stuff a teddy bear with, just to keep it going. Maybe that's how it gets whatever source. I don't know.
To bulk it out.
I don't know. I'm too high for this, man.
Well, if there you go, I'll give you that then. If you're too high, Greer's Pixie.
Yeah. What's
remember that one? Oh, love it. Love it. That little guy in the middle. These are all things that Stephen Greer's apparently seen and photographed. Not himself, but him and his team.
You know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm quite open about he's using the CS5, is it?
CE5, yeah.
CE5. And people, I just give you a warning, be careful of that, man, because it's conjuring what he's doing. He even said I'm sure he said in an interview that you could do this for free if you knew how to do it.
Yeah, he did say that.
He's messing with ancient stuff. It's conjuring. So it wouldn't surprise me that he's seeing these little things knocking around. Not in the slightest.
Do you believe Greer then? Do you think he's for real?
I think with the CE5, I think he's messing with something that maybe he don't understand, or he does understand, who knows. But people, just be very wary of what you're doing. Understand what you're doing. You're not communicating with aliens. You're not communicating with UFOs. Well, you are. You're communicating with aliens, something alien to us.
I should hope he fucking does understand it. He charges enough for his tickets.
Well, that's where the money comes into it, isn't it? I mean, he's charging. See, any right kind of person that wasn't nefarious about it, yeah, he wouldn't be charging you how much to do the CE5? How much is it? $19.99?
That's a bargain. $19.99.
How much is it then? I don't
Sign
know.
me up. Are we talking? Are you talking?
Is it? Does he have
19,000?
No, he can't, because he's got an app that people can buy to learn how to do
Oh,
this.
you're talking about the app. The app, yeah,
Yeah.
the app's probably $9.99, something like that. Yeah, but I mean, he's charging like thousands for people to go out and do this thing with him. You know, where I reckon his missus probably makes them a bit of a pat lunch and what have you, and they all go out to the beach, and there's no flares being shot out.
I think
that doesn't happen.
I think the thing that we got to look at is the people that are happily parting with their cash to do this. If he can charge them and people are going to come, then
if you charge them, they will come. That's it's been watching too much Field of Dreams.
That's the new motto. I'll charge him 10 grand to hang out with me for a weekend.
Do you know what? I mean, if I had the money to do it, if I had money if I had fuck your money, as Joe Rogan says, I would say, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just for the experience. I'm going to sit with Greer for the day and do some of this shit just to see what it's like. So, I mean, he probably charges that much because he knows he can get away with it. He knows it's the rich and the famous that will pay for it. So,
God bless him then.
You're not going to charge $9.99, are you?
You charge him for the common man.
50 quid. I'll take you out for the day. He's not going to get any return on that.
Just be careful, guys. Just be careful.
Yeah, don't conjure. Yeah. Anyway, boys, it is it's 12 minutes past 12. I would stay for another hour. I'm dying right now, and I need to get to bed. I was asleep before. I had to set an alarm before I got on this show because I've got some weird fucking fever shit going on, and I need to go to bed. But I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Hidden, what's going on in the life of Hidden? What's coming out next?
I'm just taking some family time over the holidays, so I will be back. Maybe a surprise show in the new year. I mean, just before the new year.
Some live ones?
Maybe. I hate live shows, man.
I told you, mate. Invite us on.
I will, but I just hate live shows. So,
mate, they're the fun ones. But no, I get it. Some people like it, some people don't.
Well,
Q, what's going on in Q's world? Are we getting some shows going?
I'd like to say yeah, but every time I say that, it doesn't come off. You know, it's a pain in the arse when you've got such a little channel as mine. Plus, with my work schedule, with my wonderful job, I hope you could hear the sarcasm in my voice. But yeah, we'll have to see. I guess I'll just carry on doing what I do and be the thorn in the side of some people when they put out some really, really bad, obvious crap.
Well, yeah, you've done some nice little debunks in the past, some really funny stuff. You do some gaming stuff as well, I've noticed.
Yeah, I haven't actually been gaming that much though for quite a while. I've been watching more than doing. I need to start doing more stuff.
Yeah,
but we'll see what the new year holds,
mate. Yeah, so people go and head on over to QVid and check his stuff out. Give him a like and a subscribe. Every little helps to grow channels, because guess what? You know, when you get a flood of people, and Q does some great videos as well, it kind of spurs you on to do more stuff. So that's a hint, people. Hit that thumbs up before you leave, even if you fucking hate the show. Do it anyway because it's Christmas. And if you want to support the show further, you can go head on over to my little Teespring and grab yourself one of my designed drinking utensils, t-shirts. These are the designs. You can get yourself the Bob Lazar one. I think I've still got the third phase of moon one up. I have, which is this one here. Don't come round here with your big bollocks, which I said to Blake when he was getting a little bit his knickers in a twist. That is on the channel, on the Teespring, and that will be taken off in January. So if you want to get yourself one of them, you can do. But apart from that, it's been fun. It's been last minute because I wasn't going to do a show, but I've been here. The guests have really helped the fucking show out tonight, like they always do, but more than ever because I've been fucking putting my mic, coughing my head off. But yeah, Merry Christmas, people. Good night, God bless. Oh, and by the way, I getting Ghost Tech Paranormal back on because I am going to stay next year, apparently, in 30 East Drive. I don't know why I'm pointing that way because I don't know which way it is, but yeah. Apparently the most haunted house in Britain, but I'm a skeptic, so he says, yeah, he said, I'll be fucking running out of that house. Nah, I'll be fine. Probably be live streaming with a beer in my hand. Fuck that ghost. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. Have a great evening. Have a great Christmas and all that jazz. Bye-bye.